In a tense congressional hearing, Pam Bondi clashes with Representative Madeleine Dean, who demands direct answers. Their fiery exchange exposes rising frustration over accountability and transparency in American politics.
People, day one of this administration, I believe you're sincere. You want to protect law enforcement, but your principal, the president, pardoned every single one on January 6th. It rings hollow when you say these words, that if you spit on a police officer, we're going to go after you. Talk to my...
When people in power feel cornered by truth, they don't stay calm. They lash out. That's exactly what happened when Madeleine Dean questioned Pam Bondi, and the mask of professionalism started to slip.
Friends who are Capitol Police officers who were here, 5 of whom are no longer here. They are dead. And this administration, and I guess I want to ask you, did you have any advice for the president when he came forward with the blanket pardon on January 20th? What advice did you offer the president?
I am never going to talk about conversations, advice
Were you
in
asked
any
for-
way.
were you asked
I'm
for
never
advice?
going to talk about discussions I've had
Because
or have not had.
you'll
But I
remember-
can answer with the President of the
Yes or
United
no?
States.
Did you give him any advice, yes or no?
I am not going to discuss any conversations
That's a
that
no.
I have had with it.
And
You just put
your
words in
own
my
word,
mouth. I
but-
am not going to
No,
discuss.
I'm going to reveal your own words.
I am
Just
not
a moment.
going to
Please stop.
discuss
Please stop. This
conversations
is my
that I've
time.
had with the President of the United States.
Attorney
You asked me
General,
a question.
I would like to reclaim
and
the
you
last
asked
20
me to
seconds.
answer.
I have asked to reclaim my time. Please put 20 seconds back on the clock.
You have an extra 30.
If the general,
She answered and then answered it again and answered it again with a non-answer. I ask for your consideration
if the
of putting
general
time
lady
on.
will let the witness answer the questions, we will.
She
proceed.
answered it by saying no. Okay. The 3 hallmarks of this administration are incompetence, corruption, and cruelty. I'm going to focus today on corruption. And in my mind, there are 2 types of corruption: personal, and then the other I'm going to call public, governmental. Attorney General, have you ever been registered as an agent of a foreign principal under the Foreign Agents Registration Act?
I assume you're talking about when I represented the country of Qatar for a very short time.
The answer
Hold
is
on.
yes. No,
Hold on.
excuse me.
No.
No.
For anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Anti-human trafficking
or
for the
no?
World Cup.
Attorney
you can't
General.
put words in my mouth.
No.
You want to talk about incompetence? You're the one that
Excuse
said
me.
Joe Biden on PBS was competent. You had to retract those words.
Mr.
So don't
Chairman.
talk to me. Don't insult me publicly.
This is so discourteous. This is so outside the committee's guidelines. Taking a personal shot at me while swiping at Biden, very strange and very unprofessional of you. The answer is yes or no, and the answer is yes. You were registered as a lobbyist for Qatar. Is that correct? Yes. Never mind. Don't answer. Did you disclose that when you went before for the Senate for confirmation? Yes or no? No, it was not in your documents. The answer is no. President Trump.
This was discussed at my confirmation hearings in detail.
It was discussed, but you failed to bring up the conflict that you had. President Trump recently announced he'd accept that $400 million Qatar airplane because it was just prettier than the one he was flying around in. Is it true that you gave advice that this was legally permissible? Yes or no?
I will not discuss any advice that my Office of Legal Counsel gives to the President of the United States on any matter.
When you spoke before the Senate, you said you would ask for ethical advice. Did you recuse yourself from that issue?
And talking about unprofessional, you say the President wanted a jet because it's pretty?
Excuse
Come
me.
on, this is a Senate. This is a
He said it
congressional
himself.
hearing.
He said it himself.
In today's explosive political moment, tensions reached a breaking point when former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi faced off with Representative Madeleine Dean during a heated committee hearing. The exchange quickly went viral, not just because of the intensity of the back and forth, but because it captured something deeper: the growing frustration inside Congress, where direct answers are becoming harder to come by. This wasn't just another routine political argument. It was a confrontation filled with interruptions, raised voices, and a demand for honesty. Answer the question. From the start, it was crystal clear the atmosphere was charged. Cameras focused on Pam Bondi, confident, composed, and ready to defend her position. On the opposite side sat Representative Madeleine Dean, known for her unshakable persistence and no-nonsense questioning style. The topic at hand centered on accountability and transparency in actions linked to government involvement, decisions, and possible misuse of power. But within seconds, the hearing shifted from structured questioning into a fiery verbal showdown. Dean asked what seemed like a straightforward question, yet instead of answering directly, Bondi began steering the conversation into unrelated territory. She redirected, reframed, and softened her language, attempting to control the narrative. But Dean wasn't having it. She leaned forward, eyes locked, and sharply interrupted. "Miss Bondi, please answer the question." The firmness in her tone echoed through the room. It was the kind of moment that makes everyone freeze. Bondi tried again, this time beginning a lengthy explanation, full of details that seemed to avoid the heart of what Dean was pressing for. Before she could finish, Dean cut in once more, louder and more commanding. "No, answer the question that you were asked." The gallery of press and attendees shifted in their seats. The intensity was unmistakable. This wasn't just a disagreement, it was a battle for control of the narrative. Dean's frustration reflected something many Americans have been feeling about politics: the lack of straight answers. People are tired of rehearsed talking points, evasive responses, and political games. Dean voiced what viewers at home were thinking. Her persistence wasn't about political affiliation, it was about accountability. When she demanded, "Yes or no, did you or did you not take part in the actions being questioned?" Bondi attempted to respond with legal phrasing and broader context. But Dean wasn't interested in speeches. She wanted clarity. Pam Bondi, experienced in media appearances and skilled in legal rhetoric, tried to maintain control. She smiled at moments, spoke slowly, and attempted to frame herself as the calm voice in the room. But every time her answer drifted into a rehearsed line, Dean jumped in again. The moment hit its climax when Dean's voice rose above the noise, respectfully. "We don't need a narrative, we need the truth." The room went silent. This was more than politics, it was an accountability check. What made the moment so powerful wasn't yelling or chaos, it was the fact that Madeleine Dean refused to let obfuscation take center stage. In committee hearings, officials are often able to dodge and weave around challenging questions. But this time, someone pushed back, and viewers felt the shift. This wasn't grandstanding. It was a demand that the democratic process be respected. As the exchange continued, Bondi grew visibly frustrated. She insisted that she was answering. Dean disagreed, pointing out that offering a story is not the same as answering a direct question. The verbal tug-of-war exposed a deeper issue: transparency in government and the necessity of accountability from individuals in positions of authority. Whether you support Bondi or Dean politically, the underlying message was universal: truth matters. After several rounds of dodging and redirecting, Dean repeated her demand with finality. "Answer the question." Bondi paused. The cameras zoomed in. The exchange became a defining moment, not because one person won, but because it revealed how difficult getting a truthful answer from a public official can be. And that resonated with viewers across party lines. The clip spread rapidly online, sparking discussions on transparency and political accountability. Comment sections filled with reactions, some supporting Bondi, others cheering on Dean. But most people agreed on one thing: this exchange reflected the frustration of millions who are tired of politicians avoiding direct questions. In the end, the confrontation between Pam Bondi and Madeleine Dean became more than a hearing, it became a symbol of how urgently people want honesty, how exhausted they are with political double talk, and how powerful it can be when someone stands firm and demands the truth.